How far would you go to make an impact in the world? This fall, 10 incredible entrepreneurs will visit our campus to tell their stories and share the steps they took to be catalysts for change. The 2021 Entrepreneur Leadership Series, the most valuable one-credit class you will ever take.
All right, we've got some great judges here today. Let's give them a round of applause. So typically what we do is we have someone memorize or read this, but I'm not going to do that today. I'll tell you briefly about the judges, and then we'll have a short little Q&A with them to find out a little bit more. But we've got the Haskells here. We've got Justin and Leslie Haskell, right? Yes, I said that right. Maximum senior benefits. Now, Justin tries to show off you speak 3 languages, correct? Is that 3? But she grew up in Peru, which is way, way, way cooler. We all know that. In Peru, one thing I noticed is that you were the insurance salesman first, which means I think it was your company and he kind of just joined a little bit later. Is that right? So co-founders, but really he was your first hire. So there we go. All right, so Maximum Senior Benefits has done a lot of great work in the industry, just recently got acquired, and so we're happy to have them, huge supporters of the Center for Entrepreneurship. So. Now, these two have told me they aren't a couple, but they do hang out together a lot. We've got one, you got your degree in philosophy, is that right? And you are a data nerd. Is that right? A complete data nerd. And so we've got, do you go by Nate or Nathan? Okay, Nate Putnam here with Monumetric and his buddy Kyle Ivins. Kyle Ivins is a consummate marketer and entrepreneur. He was the president of the Entrepreneurship Club here at Utah State University. And both of them are also on our founders board and huge supporters of our program. So let's give them a round of applause. All right, now this one, here's the story, okay? Let's talk about what she did. She started this company, Nani Swimwear. Does anyone know Nani Swimwear? This is her company. This is her company. She was an Aggie. She still is an Aggie because once an Aggie, always an Aggie. But something happened. BYU and Utah State were playing. She was interviewed on ESPN, and they did a taste test with ice cream, and she picked BYU's ice cream. So she was kicked out of school. And that's why she's not going to school up here anymore. But we're happy to have you back because you are an Aggie forever. Riss Barlow, thank you. All right. So great companies, different types of companies. We have it in the insurance and service space. We've got it in the business to business and marketing data space and in the consumer goods space. We're going to have some great businesses here. We've got 5 different businesses, and without further ado, we're going to give you the first one here, which is a tongue twister, Loyal Mobile Oil. Come on out.
Thank you. Where do I point it? Hi Sharks, my name is Dallin Tolman. I'm from here in Cache Valley, and I'm the founder of Loyal Mobile Oil Changes. At Loyal, we found a way to substantially give back time and money to business owners and families. We know you're busy. You've got businesses to run, families to raise, and TV shows to keep up on. The last thing you want to do with your time is go sit in the waiting room with a bunch of strangers eating off-brand popcorn while you wait for your oil to get changed. Take 30 seconds to schedule with Loyal, and we'll come directly to your home or business and take care of all of that for you. So we started this business in mid-September and have just been piloting it along for 1 to 2 days a week until more fully operational in mid to end October when we made our first hire. In this time, we've serviced over 55 vehicles, 80% of which have been rescheduled for their next service. We have 4, almost 5 business fleet customers, all with $0 in advertising. We're debt-free as a company. We plan to continue to be so. We brought in $5,500 in revenue at a 50% operational margin. And in this time frame, we've doubled sales every 2 weeks. At this rate of growth, and which is one of our big goals, we plan to be fully operational with our 1 van and 1 employee at about 30-hour work week with $190,000 in annual revenue before the end of the year. So I'm going to throw this up here really quick for you guys to see. We really focus our efforts and our value at Loyal on time and convenience to give people more time to do what they love rather than pricing. However, let it suffice to say that we do beat or match all of our major competitors on pricing on all of our products. And here's where it gets really exciting. So we are so set to grow like crazy. We're very focused on company and organizational fleets right now because it gives us that recurring and contractual business. We don't need to find a year's worth of customers, just 3 to 4 months worth, and that will happen every few months. We also have endless pivoting opportunities between farm and heavy equipment, recreational vehicles, so on and so forth, with our current process and equipment. It's also very easily replicated and franchised. There's low startup costs. It's easily established in any area. You don't necessarily need a high skill set to be able to run this. And we already have very established brand and processes. And on top of all of this, our customers love us. We have a community of raving fans. Everybody that has used us wish they would have found us sooner because we allow them to have more time to do what they love and more time for their businesses to make money. And people are so busy. For example, Professor Fisher here, extremely busy man. Even today, he's just been running around trying to set up this event. But while he was doing all of that, we were able to go and service his vehicle so he could do more of what he loves to do. By the way, Professor Fisher, here's your keys. You ready to go? Thank you.
All right, well, I pay for this if you guys will start your Q&A.
Hey, I'll start off. Tell me about your executive team, like your leadership team other than you. Who else is part of this so far?
Sure. So I've been mostly involved in doing this. Before I started this off, I did a lot of research in how easy it would be to start this up. I wasn't super familiar with the industry, so I did some research and found somebody actually in Georgia who made this his career, a similar business. And I hired him. I bought lots of the equipment from him, but I also called with him 3 times a week and just got a lot of mentoring for him, asked any question I could possibly think of, and he's still one of my very good mentors till this day. On top of that, I have an employee right now that's working up to full-time, and he's mostly just a technician, but it will be working up to be more of a fleet manager as we grow and expand.
How are you getting your customers right now?
So that's a great question. Initially, we've done a lot of networking. We have Google up and we have everything like that. We have been using some of Google's free ad campaign dollars that they give you at the very beginning of the business. But the majority of our work has come through networking. We find one business that loves us and they refer us to their friends, which we're able to call and contact. And that just kind of has a ripple effect. People post us on their stories and people call us from that. Mostly it's been word of mouth from after our initial customer outreach.
All right. Awesome video. I liked a lot of the bicep shots. That was a nice touch. You mentioned the 50% operational margin.
Yeah.
How much of that includes labor you're doing that's probably free?
So I include labor whether I do it or whether my technician does it. So most of the time there's only one person on the job, whether that be me or my technician. And in that I factor in about $15 an hour for that labor cost, which is pretty conservative seeing that our average service is about 30 minutes long, tops. So we have about $15 for cost of goods, another $15 maybe for labor, and then a little bit of overhead into that also.
Okay.
So,
Sorry. as you scale and you need fleet managers plus technicians, have you baked that into that projection of keeping a 50% operational margin? That just seems high for a service company to be able to sustain that, but just want to know if you've baked in any of those additional costs of operations manager or a fleet manager, things like that that you may incur as time goes on, or things like a scheduling manager, someone to answer phones, things like that.
Yeah, for a lot of those roles we have automated. We have a website that has completely automated scheduling, completely automated reminders and calling and things like that, which makes it very easy, especially after the first service. They're able to have all their services accounted for after that. And they're able to reschedule on their end, which takes out a lot of our time. However, as we do grow, we will definitely incur more costs, and they'll still be paid hourly. Some of them are more hourly, some of them are more on commission base. I'm sure as sales, it'd be a lot more commission. However, hourly would be more fitting for some of our managers for those fleets. So
my question is kind of similar to that. Like, if you experience an exponential growth, all of a sudden that you need to have triple or quadruple your amount of clients, how would you be able to keep up with them?
So that's a great question. Right now, we're very set to grow rapidly right now. And our van has a lot more capacity that can fill up. On top of that, with some of our pivoting opportunities, we have abilities to go all day and all night sometimes with roadside assistance and such. And so we're planning on growing very quickly until we have full capacity at this van, with which we would pivot either into another van for the same market or another service vehicle for other markets like heavy equipment and such.
Tell me a little bit more about the process when you get out to the customer's home. Does the customer have to be there? Does the customer leave the key in the car? Like, tell me about that process.
So it's completely at your convenience. Lots of the customers that we service, they're either out of town, they're busy, and that's what we're here for. They'll leave their keys in the car, or else we can come to their house and pick them up from whatever is most convenient for them, and then we'll just do the service, either hand them back or put them wherever they choose. So.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
All right. I'm glad I got that taken care of today as well, so that was good. All right, next we have coming up, we have Chantel Savage. Chantel is going to be introducing Buttercup bees and one other, or buttercream bees. Buttercream? Buttercup. And Chantel, you should also pay attention. She's also an incredible figure skater. So let's watch her grace and come on out.
Okay, hi everybody. I can't tell if this is on. Are you sure?
We'll get
Closer?
Okay.
Okay, can you guys hear me? Are we good? Okay, hi, I'm Chantel Savage, and I am the founder of Buttercup Bees. So I had a question for all of you guys. How many of you currently have chapstick on you or consider yourselves frequent chapstick users? Sick. Okay. Cool. Okay, what if I told you that your chapstick isn't doing what you think it's doing? So I want to talk to you about how I came to this realization and how I found that there's something missing. During my time as a missionary in Alabama, I realized I was going to the store very frequently to buy chapstick. There was one point in time that I had 5 different brands and chapsticks in my proselyting bag. I also was experiencing a lot of difficulties with dry and chapped hands, which my companion at the time gave me her at-home remedy, or her mom sent it to us, and it worked miraculously. It healed my hands, but I found out later that it was actually wax conditioner for leather shoes. So while it solved my problem, it wasn't the solution that I was looking for. Fast forward to when I come home, and it's been 3 years, I got connected back with some of my friends from high school and her husband, and they recently got into local beekeeping, which is super convenient. So we got together, and we were trying to figure out if other people have the same kind of problems that I was experiencing. So we did surveys with 30 people, and we found consistent findings. And we found 3 main pain points in other chapstick brands. And that is that it wears off quickly, it contains addictive ingredients, and it dehydrates your lips. And that is why we created Buttercup Bees. Our goal is to create long-lasting, natural, and hydrating product. We do this simply through our 5 simple ingredients. We have beeswax, which is a natural way to lock in moisture, and we use other butters and oils to help hydrate without drying ingredients like menthol and salicylic acid. So since our launch in September of 2021, we've been able to double sales every 2 weeks. We also have profit. Where do I need to stand? Am I good? I think you're good. Okay. We also have a profit margin of 67% for our chapsticks and 50% for our lotions. Moving forward, we are increasing our online presence. Can I just not move? Okay, I'm not moving. Okay, we are increasing our online presence through Etsy and through Instagram. We are also establishing our presence in retail stores such as Lee's Marketplace, and we are marketing gift packages, and we are working with different real estate agents at Cornerstone to create little gift bags to give new homeowners. So we create our products with our customers' best interests in mind, and the feedback is overwhelmingly positive. They value our solution to the problem. We have sales, we've proven our concept, and with your help, Buttercup Bees can continue to grow our community of raving fans and to take our product to the next level.
All right.
Okay, do you guys have any questions about my product, my business?
I'd turn it on for you. Come on. Talk to me a little bit more about your retail strategy, right? As you explored those relationships, right? Like, do you require MAP pricing? What does your profit margin do at scale through retail partners?
Mm-hmm. So I have yet to figure out all of like the nitty-gritty parts of that. I worked at Lee's Marketplace for 5 years as an assistant manager, so I have a lot of networking connections, and they're especially really great at supporting local things. They have lots of different companies that come in and they work with. But as for our profit margins, I'm sure we'd have to adjust some stuff so that we can benefit Lee's as well as ourselves.
Can you build on that and talk to me about how you settled on a $3?
That's a good question. Yeah, thank you for that. I don't know exactly how we came up with that, if I'm going to be completely honest. So with my high school best friend and her husband, they are the ones that kind of are doing they're the ones that have the bees, and they were like, we should do this. And I was like, okay, sick, let's do it. So that's kind of where we came from. Thank you for that question.
So I have a question. So if you were to win tonight $1,000, how would you plan to invest it in your company? What would be like the first thing you would do?
So you want to know the primary thing that I'm going to be doing if I win? I think one of the biggest things that I'm wanting to do is continue, like I said earlier with our online presence, I want to do things that are going to get us out there further. So right now we're just bootstrapping a lot, so we don't have ads or anything. A lot of our promotion is through word of mouth, different sharing things on social media, sharing with friends. And so I think doing different ads would be one of the big things. And not that would be a ton of money, but also coming up with different promotional items.
Compared to the other natural products that are out there, because you talked about the addictive ingredients in some of those, but there are some naturals. Whole Foods carries some. How does yours compare to those?
So ours, there are others out there for sure. Ours just I've noticed is way more moisturizing. With the ingredients that I had on that one slide with the menthol and the salicylic acid, those are stuff that is still in a lot of the natural chapsticks. And so ours, because we have the baseline ingredients, we don't have those in ours. Thank you.
All right, one more question. Any last questions?
Yeah, I've got one more if nobody else does. What's the long-term vision of this? Where do you see yourself in 5 or 10 years? How passionate are you about this product and about this future?
This is something that I've felt has started very, very small, but it's become very important to me because I've been able to solve a problem for myself, and other people are able to see that it actually solves a problem for them as well. And so I would love to, as I get this in local retail stores to get it bigger and like do more of like a larger Utah scale?
I'm sorry. How do you sell a product where people don't know if they like it until they buy it?
That is a really good question. Thank you. One of the biggest things that we value at Buttercup Bees is 100% satisfaction. So if you don't like it, you can return it. And that's kind of where we're at. We believe in our product well enough that if you don't like it, we'll take it. Thank you.
Thanks, Chantel. Whenever I used to go to Lee's and she was working there, every time they'd say, "How was your, you did that skip? How was it?" I always just said, "Chantel's the best." And then she told me she never got to see any of those things because it just went to some central thing. So, Chantel, you're the best. We're glad to have you here. All right, next we have Alfredo Solar. He's going to be talking about Bundo today. And Alfredo is a graduate of, he's an MBA student here, but he's a graduate of BYU Hawaii, so I thought Leslie would like that. He also used to own a chocolate factory, so I don't know why, anything after that's got to be a bit of a letdown. But here we are. Al.
Aloha. I want to start with a question. If you the clicker. Oh, okay. So I want to start with a question. Who of you have lent or borrowed money from someone? You don't have to raise your hand, but just think about this. And then the next question is, the next question? Who has felt uncomfortable when you have to ask for your money back, right? It's like, that's even more uncomfortable. And maybe that is the reason you hold on lending the money to someone. So that is what we're gonna, next one please. So that is what Bundo, our startup, is gonna do in the business. We're gonna do, we will do what Airbnb has done, Airbnb has done it in, you normalize someone sleep over in your house and they pay you for that. We will normalize lending money from friends, or whoever you know firsthand, those person. Next one please. So let me talk about this. Kyle is a student, it's not a real person. Kyle is a student at USU. He has a part-time job outside campus where he can make some more money and get some experience at work so he can get a better job in the future. He pays for his rent, he pays for his food, and he also works during summer to make enough money to pay his own tuition. So he's a very good guy trying to make the best. But unfortunately, his car broke down. And that can happen to anyone. He doesn't want to go and he doesn't feel entitled to just go and ask for money to his parents, or whoever he might feel close to it. He wants to work for that. And everyone, even we as students, or someone maybe is out of work or for some reason needs money, and they don't want just to come and ask for money. They want to work for it, but maybe don't have a good credit score or don't have a credit score. So that is when we Bundo come and help and push those people because we all have been in that place. Next one. So this is how the app works, if you can click on. Bundo, Kyle would click on it. He will say the contact name he wants to ask money. In this case, is Susan, who happens to be his mom, will ask for the money and say, I need $1,500 to fix my car. Put the amount, and then he will put the purpose of. We do a lot of interviews. People want to know what people want to use the money for. They don't want it to go on vacations. So we put that per part, and then you have the option to press to get a picture of the code of the shop. So this is gonna happen right now. Just click in there, have the repair code, just for your mom to know that it's legit. It doesn't have to happen, but it can happen. So he's doing the loan today, and he's saying, I'm gonna pay it in June. So a couple months. He said, I'm gonna pay every month. Once a month, I'm gonna pay you, and he's gonna give a tip to his mother. So we don't have interest, we call it tip. So he knows upfront how much he's gonna pay for the total loan. And he sends a request, and that happens today. Next one. So we will send, as a bundle, we'll send reminders to people, and we'll say 5 days before it's due, the payment that month, hey, payment to Susan or your mother is coming. So you have to do it. And then you can see where are you in that. Next one. And now, so right now we're here in November. Let's go to March. So next one. So how his mom would see her mom is gonna see this. She's in March now, and she can see that the payment having done in March. He's late now in March, so she can know right away, and that's how the app works. It's very intuitive. Tells you how far you are in the payments, where are you, and if you need to pay something. Next one. Oh, here. So that is where we're resolving this problem. And it's just what I talked already. Next one, please. And the solution is this app, and next one. And that is the business model. We take, so the loan, if the loan is $800, the tip is 80 usually. They can change the tip, and we get 10% of the tip. That is how we make money. And if you can see, if we have 200,000 users with an average of $80 for tip, we get $8 for that, so our revenue is $1.6 million. So that would be very profitable business.
Okay, so questions for you. Do you have any active users right now?
So you guys can come. We are right now in the app. So we're two areas, okay? I'm doing it manually for a couple people, just for less than 10 people. We're doing this manually. We're in the stage. Edgar is a programmer, so he's programming with someone else. If you can go ahead and go a little bit more. There. So this is our team. So we 3 people are in the MBA program. A couple of people are in the school, like Matthew's programming, who's there. He's also in the school here. We hired someone her name is Barlow. She has done this for 10 years. Entrepreneurs, we are like very spaced out. We just pick the big picture. She's helping us to everyone know what is going on, what they have to do. And so anyway, we have legal operation. We're very set up. So the programming is being done right now. To answer your question, the other part, we are waiting to just launch and do it.
What's your strategy to get the 200,000 users that you're
So
planning?
our market right now is going to be college students. We're going with the strategy of Qualtrics or Facebook, just college student. And the reason is because people who is going to lend money is not because they want to make profit in this app, it's because they want to help. And the way to help is giving the people the resources to pay you back and help them. So I think college students we're going to have kind of ambassador in each college for them to go and tell people. And then college students, we're going to go to a different city, to a different place to work in 1 or 2 years. So that's going to help us to get even more people in 1 or 2 years. That's like kind of a strategy to get into normalize. So we don't have a marketplace. You have to know the person who you're going to lend money to, because it would be weird for you just to go randomly into an app and lend money to someone you don't know. But hopefully in the future, someone asks you for money, you have a good experience, and now you can go and lend money to people in Mexico, Philippines. There are a lot of people who are working here who are lending money to their families back home.
Tell me a little bit more about the costs. So being able to, the functionality of it. Are you using, the financial service sector, or are you doing it similar to Venmo, where they're using, an internal structure or separate banks as well? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Thank you. We're trying to avoid all regulation. You can use Venmo with our platform, so we are not competing with Venmo. If that is the best way for you to use money, to send money is fine. We don't want to compete with that. And we are trying to avoid banks or everything. So any way you send money is fine. We're just gonna either read your account and know when you send the money. So we just read your account. We don't have access to your account to avoid any regulations.
But do you feel like that might be helpful though? Like if I'm lending and there's an ACH to ACH transfer, so I can ACH the money to their account, but then I'm connected to their account, so they could make, like those payments could be auto-drafted. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because if I loan a brother money, it doesn't take away the awkwardness if they miss the payment, right? Then I'm just hitting them up, and I know the app is hitting them up, but if they still don't pay, right? But if there is an ACH connection, and that's where I sent the money, and then it's auto drafting and making payments back to me, wouldn't that be a great feature?
Oh yeah,
for
we
the
want
user?
to do it. We just don't, we're limited right now with the money we have. But that is our, I mean, what we want is people just to send the money and don't worry about it. So anything about that would be great. Yeah, sorry.
If somebody gave you $10,000, what do you spend it on in your company?
Right now we are trying to have we're doing right now this. We're putting ads, so people can click on it and fill information as if the ad was already there to see how many people click in, so we can show to get seed investment.
Where are you running
we use
those?
part of that money in
Okay.
that, and the other part to keep paying the programmer because it's expensive. Yeah, we're in debt now, probably.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thanks so much. Good job, guys. All right, next we have Daniel Warren. Daniel Warren's coming up here, and one thing kind of cool about Daniel, this guy is also someone who's always got some kind of side thing going on. He taught himself how to be a mechanic so that he could come up here and does remote mechanic work on cars so that he could help support, I think, bison paddles and some other things in his life and his hot chocolate habit. And so we're really excited to have another really kind of in your neck of the woods call, super entrepreneur coming up here right now, Daniel Warren.
All right. Can you hear me? Closer. All right, is that good? All right, so I'm sure many of you have played pickleball and heard of it. But in case you haven't, it's essentially a hybrid between tennis and ping pong, and it's a lot of fun. It's currently the fastest growing sport in the world. We've seen a 650% increase in participation in the past 6 years, and there's currently around 4 million pickleball players in the United States. So my friend, Colin Peterson, and I started playing back in 2019, and we were instantly hooked. It's a lot of fun, but we had trouble finding paddles that were good quality, but also not super expensive, and we found that there's this huge gap in the pickleball paddle market. So on one hand, for a nice paddle, it's going to be about $150 to $200, and being college students, we couldn't justify an expense like that. And so, of course, we went to Amazon to look at some of the cheaper options, but we didn't love any of these. They didn't really speak to us, and some of their pictures were a little weird. I'm going to show you some screenshots here. As you can see, it's just really photoshopped and kind of cheesy. This guy is just, slamming this pickleball into the sunset. This guy who's serving overhand, which is actually illegal. And my personal favorite, Neo Pipo Pickleball, enjoy your time on the field. I'm sure they meant field, but that wouldn't make sense either. So there's no good options available, but we eventually settled for one of these cheaper ones and were disappointed when they came. They felt cheap and ended up falling apart. All we really wanted was something good-looking, durable, and cheap, or decently priced. And so we decided to start Bison paddles. Bison paddles are high-quality, durable pickleball paddles that look great. In the past 12 months, we've done just over $45,000 in sales with minimal paid advertising. The majority of our sales came from word of mouth and local Facebook groups. People love our paddles, and we've completely sold out of inventory multiple times already. Our margins are great. We source our paddles for $12 each, and they sell for $49.99. And we anticipate with the larger order that this cost will go down to about $8. We currently sell them on our website, bisonpaddle.com, and on Amazon. And we're really trying hard to build our Amazon store right now because we found that the top sellers are doing really well. So this brand I showed you earlier, I decided to plug just 10 of their products into a sales estimator and found that their monthly average is around $1.5 million in sales. As you can see, there's a huge opportunity here. Pickleball is growing at a super fast rate, and it's not going to stop anytime soon. And the majority of this growth is due to younger casual players like myself. And this new crowd of pickleball players are going to be looking for paddles that provide the most value. They're not going to be spending $150, $200 on a paddle. And Bison paddles look better, perform better, and will last longer than any other paddles in their price range. Not to mention that we have a brand personality that other brands just can't beat. Questions?
Talk to me about your strategy to scale. How are you going to afford the cost? How are you going to get the supply? How are you going to scale this?
Yeah, so like I said, we've run out of inventory a couple times, but we're getting close to getting over that hump. And we actually have an investor right now who's willing to finance our orders if we start to get low on cash. So there's that. And like I said, we're really trying to work on our Amazon store because the traffic that goes through Amazon is insane. You know, that other brand is selling close to 20,000 paddles a month just through Amazon. They don't even have a website or list their paddles anywhere else.
Do you have any experience, or anyone on your team has experience in optimizing Amazon listings, or as an Amazon? I mean, there's a lot of Amazon sellers out there.
Right. So we actually are working with a company right now who's just taking a small percentage of our sales, and they are running our Amazon store.
Talk to me a little bit about your cost per acquisition, and if you've seen like any estimates on lifetime value, repeat customers, referrals, things like that.
Yeah, and pickleball paddles are obviously something that people aren't going to be buying, you know, a lot of. But one thing we're seeing this year even is a lot of people are buying them for their friends for Christmas gifts. And even, you know, paddles like ours that are more durable, you know, they still only have a life of maybe 2 years, you know, if you're using them a lot.
Why does your pickleball paddles have the cord going around the handle? Is it functional, or what's the?
It just makes them more comfortable. You guys can, you know, feel them. A lot of people will. That's one of the highlights of our product, actually. People who spend the $200 on a grip will use ours and say, you know, I wish my $200 paddle had this on it. So.
I noticed the packages you gave us include a ball. Are you selling like bundles? Or is there any sort of plans to verticalize and sell nets or balls, things like that?
Yeah, so we currently don't offer balls or carry cases, but that is this is going to be on our next shipment. We're going to start adding those. And yeah, we've looked into selling nets as well as, you know, packs of 4, because we found people like a set of them. So we're going to look into that, or we are looking into that.
I wanted to know about the structure of your company. Are you the only owner, I know you have an investor, and then your team?
Yeah, so that guy I had a picture of with me, he is my co-founder, so we started together. And other than that, it's just us for right now. But we do have, you know, a pretty strong connection with our Amazon advertising agency, so I guess I could consider them part of our team.
So just the two of you, 50-50, and does he come to school as well?
Yes, that's
okay.
right there.
Can you talk to us a little bit about where your paddles are manufactured, if you've run into any supply chain issues, or if you're forecasting that to happen as we get later into Q4? Maybe address some of that.
Yeah, so they are made in China. We have been having to ship them air freight, which is expensive. But we think this is our last. We just barely got another shipment in, so we're good until the end of the year. But we're looking to place a really large order through sea, so we don't have to worry about it.
All right, any last questions? All right, thanks so much. Pickleball is one of those few things that people in college, retired individuals, can have the same conversation about the same sport, and over-aggressive former tennis players. And so, but I think COVID was a huge boon for pickleball. I saw those guys out on the courts a lot here in town, so we love to see that they're having success. The last two we have are the Hunsakers, Jaron and Whitney Hunsaker with Hunsaker Creative, a husband and wife team, and proud new parents of the cutest dog in the world, which is why half the people even are their friends right now. So we're so excited to have that dog in our lives. All right, Whitney and Jaron, come on up.
All right, I guess everyone can hear me okay? Well, I'm good at talking loud. So about 1 year ago from today, you could find me at the Plasma Center donating my own plasma so I could save up money to surprise Jaron with his new camera for Christmas. Little did I know that I would actually end up participating in this business idea that he had, and so my literal blood, sweat, and tears that I put into this camera would pay off, and I'd feel a lot better about it myself.
I'm Jaron, this is Whitney, and we decided to create Hunsaker Creative to tap into the photography and filmmaking industry.
So I focus my work on weddings and couple photography. So the wedding industry is booming right now. In 2020, the pandemic year, we had nearly 19,000 weddings in Utah still, and as we look at the U.S., there is predicted to be 2.5 million weddings in 2022, which is the most amount of weddings that the U.S. has seen in 4 decades.
I focus my work with businesses and working with them on their marketing and branding material. Last year, there was over $263 billion spent in advertising costs, and that's going to grow by 4% each year.
So we have a few ways that we plan to grow this business, and so it isn't just when you think of videography and photography, you usually just think of 2 freelancers, and you might ask yourself, how do you scale that? So the way that we plan to grow our business is first by creating some passive income through presets, LUTs, and educational resources for photographers and videographers online. You can go to the next slide. The second one is by hosting workshops and other training experiences for photographers and videographers that are trying to grow their business, and we can build our network. And the third and the biggest is by building a team under us of videographers and photographers and starting to outsource our work, and so we can take on more clientele.
Now, I know you may be thinking we're just the other newlywed couple that bought a camera and decided to call themselves a photographer. We really feel like we can grow this mostly because of the experience we've had this last year. Personally, for myself, like I said, I focus on businesses. I've been able to make over $6,000 in sales working with local companies like Danique and Stacked, and have done all of that while being full-time worker, employee, and doing an MBA.
So I just started advertising my photography in August, and since August I've had 45 photo shoots and made over $4,000 in revenue. Utah Bride and Groom magazine featured me, and I've booked 3 full wedding packages, and I have bookings that lead into April of 2022.
Currently, our biggest need is another camera body. We share the same camera, which causes issues in the scheduling, right? The camera can only be at one place at one time. And so moving forward, that's what we're looking to do to expand. As well as I'm going to be jumping after graduating here in the MBA, I'm going to be jumping into this full-time and doing full-time freelance work. As Whitney said, this last year has been tremendous for us. We've been able to put together a highlight reel that we want to show you that showed what we've been able to do for this last year.
Can I be the dumb one and ask what a LUTs is?
Yeah, it's basically just a preset so that when you do that,
when you style a video in editing, it's just a preset to get a certain kind of look. So a lot of times, popular filmmakers will sell their LUTs, and it's just a style to be able to copy that same style.
And a preset is that same thing, but for photography.
So why would another photographer, talented photographer, want to work with you and under you? What's the benefit to them?
I think the biggest benefit that we hope to bring and the value we hope to create by building a team is that network. I've experienced that. I've attended some workshops with some established photographers here in Utah and made a network like in the US. And so now I have that ability to work with Californian and photographers in Indiana. And so when people come to us, they hope to build that same network, and also for educational resources. So since I started, there has been new photographers that saw my success, and so they came to me, and so then I can now teach them, which a little bit of imposter syndrome, but yeah. I'm here to help.
What do the financials look like? Have you thought that through, and how does that look?
Yeah, a lot of the financials really deal with equipment. As we said, it takes an initial investment, but then once you own that equipment, you're just pulling in money from the projects that you can do. Beyond that, you have the financials of, making sure you have the correct software if you want to do advertising or any of the operations for the business.
And I think our costs go up as we build our team because, other than just equipment, we have to pay outsourcing and building or paying people for working for us. And so we're not quite there at that stage yet.
More plasma.
More plasma, yeah.
Okay, for photography and videography, it's kind of all about who you know and the connections that you have. How do you make those, and what are your plans to create more going forward? Especially because, did you say you're moving to Philly? Is that
yes.
right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So go ahead.
I've already made connections. So as I said, I love brands. I particularly love golf, and there's actually a huge niche of photography and video work to do there. I've already made several connections. I'm on a Discord chat with a bunch of people. So, but being able to make those networks is huge. And so I was on the phone just the other day with a person in San Clemente who's connected to individuals all across the U.S. with golf brands. So just making those connections really based on being active in finding them.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of proactivity that goes on. And so same thing for me. I realized that I was moving to Philadelphia, and so I've already reached out to Philadelphia photographers. And so I have those connections in place. And then I've been proactive by going to wedding photography workshops where I make connections with people from outside of Utah, which is super valuable. Yeah.
All right, last question.
Oh, shoot, I just forgot. Oh, there's a million other photographers, videographers. What do you guys do that sets you apart from everybody else?
That's a super good question. And that is something that I have to ask myself because, I was an accounting undergrad, and so this photography is definitely opening a new part of my brain. And the best part about creative work is that you're differentiated by your work. No one can create what we have. But that being said, if people are going to come to us, they like our products, but if we want to grow our network, it's more about the customer experience. And so from the moment we meet our clients, being communicative and being with our clients from start to finish to make sure that we provide the product that they're asking for. And so anyway, people come to us because of who we are, but then we grow our network because of the product we give to them.
All right, thank you so much. We'll say goodbye to Utah State's most fashionable couple, clearly. I know you loved his shoes, Riss, right? Riss? I said, I know you loved his shoes. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna go into this room here. Tate and I are gonna go with the judges into this room and figure out how the money will be divvied out, and we're going to pass the mic over to Mike, who's going to entertain you with his whatever skills.
Thank you, judges, and thank you, contestants. That was great. Wasn't that great to hear those student businesses? And 2 of those were just started this semester, so they're making great progress. I just realized I left my guitar and banjo in Salt Lake City. I don't have them here with me tonight. So we're going to have to do something a little bit different. Do you have the clicker? Oh, can you just change it for me? So the whole time I was growing up, my mother kept telling me, Mike, you're a great teacher. You need to be a teacher for your profession. And I heard that all through high school and all through college. And so I did a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and a PhD, and started teaching at the university level. And I enjoyed that a lot, but I was a business professor, and I was 27 years old, and I'd never started or run a business or even really had a job. And I knew that I needed to leave the safe haven of academics and go out and do the real thing in the business world. So I went out, and it was quite frightening because I had to create a successful company. If it failed, then I would be the professor that went out in the world and failed, and so now I'm back teaching because I can't do the real thing. But we had a phenomenal time building a successful company, and we had 600 employees at our peak, and we had 80 managers around the western United States. And my mother was really disappointed because now I was a greedy businessman and I wasn't teaching. And she really wasn't, but she kind of reminded me, you got to go back to teaching. You're a great teacher. And what I realized is that I was a better teacher in my business than I had been at the university. We had 600 employees. They were mostly teenagers, high school and college students. A lot of them were in their first job. And I told all of them, I said, I can't promise you lifetime employability or lifetime employment. You know, we're just a fast food company. But I can promise you lifetime employability with the skills that you will learn here during the 2 or 3 years that you're here. Then we created a management development program that we thought was the finest in the industry. If you were a manager, you learned all the functions of management. You did more than and learned more than I think some of our MBA students learn, because you were hiring people, you were motivating and disciplining and coaching, you were doing all your own local store marketing, you were managing your inventory, you were doing your finance. And then we told them, if you create a personal development program to advance your career skills for your next job, then we will pay you a huge bonus when you complete this program. So they were reading books and taking courses. And then we were able to support schools with the revenue that we were earning. And we were able to support community events. And we did many, many of those events every year. And then one year we sponsored an injured athlete in the World Paralympics, and we sent him to Korea to compete. And so I realized my impact in a business organization was more than what I thought it was. It wasn't about being greedy and making money, but it was about influencing people. A new term has developed over the last years, about the last 20 years, and the term is social entrepreneurship. And these are the definitions for social entrepreneurship. If you are building an organization that's going to make a difference in people's lives and help and bless a community and change the world in some small way, then you're a social entrepreneur. And I would argue that every speaker that we've had this semester has been a social entrepreneur. Wouldn't you say? Okay, what were they doing in addition to just making money and creating jobs for people? What were they doing? Just shout it out. Okay, what else? Lifting people, helping people progress and grow. They were serving veterans, right? With PTSD. They were helping children and kids, school kids at risk in high schools. They were giving and donating through a variety of foundations. And so I've come to conclude that the best way to solve our social problems in this world is through building organizations. So if you're not a business major, you have a tremendous opportunity to make a difference as you learn these skills of entrepreneurship and learn how to create something. Learn how to identify a problem and solve it by building a team, bringing some financing and learning some marketing skills. And so I think that the skills that we teach in the Center of Entrepreneurship are extremely valuable to just about everyone that is in college anywhere right now. Next slide. So when I started my career, there was a huge difference between for-profit businesses and non-profit businesses. The for-profit businesses were often perceived to be started by people that just wanted to make money. Maybe they were perceived to be a little bit greedy. Maybe the public couldn't trust the founders of those companies. Corporations just don't have that great of a reputation. But on the other side, the nonprofits were started by people with big hearts, but they didn't have those business skills. And the nonprofit failure rate is far higher than the for-profit rate because you spend all of your time begging for money. And you use the funding that you get to support the staff that's out begging for money. So basically you're begging for the leftover wealth in America. And they were really at odds with one another. In the last 2 decades, that has changed significantly, where there's been a merger of nonprofit and for-profit, and these are 4 types of organizations that are making a huge difference in the world today. And so across the top you have, what is the purpose of this venture? Was it created to make money for the shareholders and the owners? Or was it created to maybe solve a social problem, a problem in the world? And then down the left side you have the outcomes. Is it mostly making money, or is it solving problems in the world? So this 4-cell typology gives us these 4 types of organizations. The traditional corporation is designed to make money for the owners and the shareholders, and a major outcome is it produces quite a bit of profit. The thing that we don't always understand is that the biggest donors to the arts and to education and to the environment are people that have started a traditional corporation, generated a tremendous amount of wealth, and then they're using that money to do good in the world. So that's the first way that you can make a difference. Off to the right there is you start a for-profit business that actually makes money, but the product or you have a product or service that's helping to educate people. It's solving problems maybe in the inner cities. Maybe it's giving a tool that solves problems in the environment, but the product actually is working on a social problem. Down in the bottom there, number 3 is where the business actually spins off a foundation or a second division that is actually working on a social problem that is related to the core business itself. And then the most exciting one is this enterprising nonprofit, where it's a nonprofit, but it has solved its funding problem. It has an ongoing source of revenue through a product or a service or through partnerships. And it's also solved its volunteer problem, so it has people to do the work of the business. So let's just go through these 4 and let's talk about the speakers we've had this semester, okay? So let's start with the traditional corporation. John Huntsman started Huntsman Chemical to really make a difference in the world. He wanted to make money and use that money to bless people's lives. So it was a formal corporation. It was owned by the Huntsman family. But in every country that he did business, he would go see the governor or the mayor or the president or the prime minister and say, we're thrilled to be in this country. We would like to solve a problem while we're here. What do you need and what can we do? And so when I met with John the first time, he had 23 businesses in 23 countries, and he had a project in pretty much every one of those countries that was benefiting the people that lived in that country. But he was using the revenue from Huntsman Corporation to his family then to go out and make those kinds of donations. So this is a quote from John. I'll give you a minute to read it. When I finished my last interview with him, this is what he told me. So here's a great example of how a traditional corporation can generate wealth for individuals, and those individuals then can use that wealth to go out and make a huge difference in the world. Next slide, please. So our speakers this semester, Ryan and Ashley Smith, created Qualtrics. It's a multi-billion-dollar company, and as individuals now, they are going out and donating to many, many dozens of organizations. They just donated $2 million to the Encircle Home, which is a home for the LGBTQ community in Salt Lake City. And they're building more of these around the country. They've donated money to Black Lives Matter, to the NAACP Legal Fund. So they're using the wealth from Qualtrics to do a tremendous amount of good throughout the world. Okay, next. So another social purpose organ. Before we go to the next slide, too late. I was going to say, who has built a social purpose organization? A for-profit business that is helping certain constituents. Okay, here it is. So Tyler's, he was told constantly that he could never make a living as an artist, and he wanted to help new artists around the world get a start and get some exposure. That was the objective, is to put the artwork budding artists on his notebooks and have an outlet for these artists to further their career. And along the way, he committed to use 10% of the revenue to build schools around the country that these artists would essentially help pay for by the royalties they were receiving from their artwork. So again, we call this a social purpose organization for profit. It's a for-profit organization, but it's working on an issue in society, okay? A double bottom line organization. There are many of these organizations that decide we want to create a related foundation. And so before we go to this next slide, who did this that spoke here? I promise this is not a trick question. She was here just a few weeks ago. Okay. Perfect. Who said that? Excellent. You get an A+ today. Okay. Okay, so Flying J, again, is a corporation, and they are generating a tremendous amount of revenue, $3 billion in sales, $550 million in profits, and they have now created a foundation. She talked about the 3 legs of the stool that they are building for the future, and the third one was a foundation that finds really important causes that they believe in to donate those funds to. Okay, the last one is a nonprofit organization that is working on a specific problem in society, but they have solved their labor problem and their revenue problem. They're sustainable over the long run. Who would it be? Okay, there's been 3 of them. We've had 3 of them this semester. So PTSD, Arshay Cooper, and what about our friends, the convicts? Okay, the Other Side Academy. Okay, so David DeRocher's organization did about $5 million in sales this last year. They net almost $1 million, and all of that money is used to support over 100 ex-felons that live in these houses down in Salt Lake City on 7th East. One more organization, Arshay Cooper's Foundation. He's found some partners that have funded the foundation, and he's building rowing clubs in schools with at-risk students all across America, and he's having partners come in and do the training. We are one of his partners. So right now, for example, in January, we are getting 20 students from 5 high schools across the country, and they are going to enter our online entrepreneurship course taught by our seed students. We will teach a class every week, and then we will mentor them one-on-one throughout the semester. And at the end of the next semester, then they will have a business competition just like this one today, and the winners get to display their products in booths at the annual racing regattas across the country. So again, he's using partners like us to help facilitate his mission and his cause, and he solved his labor or his partnership problem, basically. So I guess the final message looks like we're ready to go. I can hardly wait to see what the judges have said. But the point is the government has been wrestling with social problems forever. And we're not making a lot of progress in solving these problems. And my message to you is that creating our own organizations as we the people, the citizens of this great country, we have the opportunity to work on these problems. And business is not dirty, and profit's not bad, it's good. We can create organizations and we can make a huge difference. And so we hope all of you will continue to take entrepreneurship classes from us, right? Next semester is our lecture series again with phenomenal speakers. And then we hope many of you will consider doing our minor in entrepreneurship, which is an approved minor for every major here at Utah State. So thanks very much.
So I'm sorry I cut that off earlier. If we would have gone 2 more minutes, he would have sung you Nessun Dorma. So that would have been incredible. So he'll have to do that next week. Oh, we don't have class next week. So you'll have to wait till next semester. So sign up and he'll do it. All right, the way that we're going to do this today is we're going to have, the judges actually have, all the judges have advice for all of you. And so they want to talk to you afterwards. And grab some ice cream and talk about things and just come up and talk about these things. But knowing that we're going to run out of time if we do that on stage, and there's some things that are like this is secret information. I don't want anyone else to know. That's what Kyle was saying, kind of. And so we're going to have them each pick one company. They've all picked one company that they're going to introduce. They're going to tell how much money was awarded to that company and give some general feedback. And then we'll come and take some pictures, and we'll let you guys get some ice cream and get out of here. So we'll start with, let's see, who's got, is it Justin that's got loyal? No, Nathan. Nathan, why don't you get started? You should stand up, yeah.
Awesome. So I have, I checked my notes here. I apologize. I'm terrible with names. Dallin and Loyal Oil. Thank you. Great job on the pitch, honestly. And you and your team will be walking out of here today with $800 in cash. And if I can give you some quick feedback, right? Know your numbers, nail your numbers. Right? Like once you have an equation of what your cost per acquisition is, if you can drive that as low as possible, increase your lifetime value. If you're looking at scaling this as a business, you have to get yourself out of it as an active participant in a service-based business as soon as possible. Right? Been there, ran agencies, failed agencies, right? But the key to scaling this business, in my opinion, is really nailing your numbers. Like right now, margins are great because you can pay yourself dog food, right? Like, and that's how you make it, right, as an entrepreneur. But if you're looking to scale, whether you're going into franchises or offering opportunities for fellow entrepreneurs to run their own business and create their own lifestyles, or you're just looking to scale your model with existing employees and acquiring talent, the sooner you can arrive at exactly, so you know and you can predict and you can fulfill all the time that you can squeeze out of a single van, that's when you're going to start to scale. That's when it's really going to start to click for you, because you'll understand, this is what I got to do, this is how many customers I need, these are my targets, and then you can deploy your capital as the executive of the company in the most efficient ways possible to hit your numbers, and then you're off to the races. So great job. Great hustle.
All right, Leslie, you don't have to stand up if you don't want to.
I'm almost out of the booth, so I'm excited to stand up, really.
We should have had you do Loyal Mobile Oil.
Right. Chantel from Buttercup Bees. Where are you? I can't see you. Oh, there you are. Yes, it was amazing. I really like the fact that you found a need and you were able to, come up with your own product and your own company, and you're just making it happen. I think that is amazing. So give it up for that, please. So a few piece of advice. So who would be your specific market? Who's your target marketing? So you want to find, who's like college students, just the more specific you are, I think the more successful you are. The next thing is, how do you differentiate? My husband kind of made that question, like, how are you different from other natural chapsticks, Like, you have to really be like, this is why we're different, and you have to believe in it for us to really believe in it. But you make $900 tonight, so good job, Chantel. I don't take all the time. When we have ice cream there, we can talk a little bit more about who can you maybe become. I was thinking Marissa will be a great resource for you, because she was able to scale her company and she's doing so great. But maybe find some good advisors to help you develop in detail your company. But great job. Thank you.
Thank you. And just a note, as Justin's coming up here, all the entrepreneurs, please come up here and talk to the judges when you're done as well.
All right, so I just downloaded this app and requested $1,850 to borrow from Bundo, because that's how much you're walking away with tonight. So $1,850, and I put in there that I'd pay it back every year for the next 18 years. I hope that's okay with you guys. So anyways, just great job. Really excited about the product that you guys have created and conceptualized, and what you've done so far as well. And as I thought about, my business experience in growing a company and then exiting and, staying in the business, but eventually you have to have some type of exit strategy. You may have talked about that in this class. You know, most entrepreneurs, they'll start a business, but they don't have an exit strategy. One thing that Michael Glauser taught me when I was doing my MBA years ago was you've got to know from start to finish. You know, what's the whole goal here? What's the start? What's the strategy? What's the exit? And so one thing that we focus on as entrepreneurs a lot of time is, you know, our clients, our profit, cost per acquisition, things like that, which are really important. But after reading many, many books and learning myself, having the right team members and mentors will really get you to where you want to be. So that's the advice I'm giving you tonight, is spend a lot of time, and maybe you've already done some of this, but spend a lot of time over the next few months, 6 months, really looking at who are the mentors we could go after and we could sell our business to. And not that they're going to get equity or anything in it, but that they're going to help you and mentor you, that they've had experience in this space, or at least they have other connections that have experience and they can mentor you through this. You guys have the vision, and nobody else is going to believe in that vision and that passion like you do. Right now, you guys are 100% confident this is going to work, even though maybe many of us out there are like, it might work, it might not. But you guys are 100% sure. So find mentors that believe in it as well, that can help you and guide you along the way. But congratulations.
All right, Kyle, you're up.
Okay. All right. I get to speak to the Bison paddles. Where are those? Where are you guys? Oh, there you are. Okay, cool. Still not sitting by your co-founder. It's kind of rude. I'm sensing some friction. That's fine. So you guys are going to walk away, actually, technically, mathematically, with $5,698.50 because we're giving you $1,800. And at $12 a paddle, that's 150 paddles. You sell that for $49.99. You make $38 a piece, and that's $5,698. So kudos to you guys. That is awesome. Super impressed by the traction you guys already have. You found a need in the market. A couple things that we talked about is upping your amount of SKUs so you guys can be all over Amazon, whether people are searching for a premium product. It'd be great if you guys had a premium version, a low-cost version, a middle tier, balls, nets, carrying bags, all those things, and you can just brand yourself and verticalize the whole market. The other thing that I would look at is finding out who the affiliate sellers are for pickleball equipment, sending them equipment, getting on their lists, because those affiliate sellers, they have those evergreen SEO pages that are selling stuff all the time. So getting on those lists, sending out emails, cold emails, phone calls, sending them swag, definitely try and get on as many lists as those can, and those will live forever. So good luck to you guys. Would love to chat with you guys some more, and thanks for the paddle. Appreciate it.
All right, now Riss. And I noticed Kyle's math skills are a lot better here than when we were counting up numbers in the back over there. So.
Okay, Whit and Jaren with Hunsaker Creative. You guys are $650 closer to buying your new camera. So I've been so impressed with how fast you guys have scaled your company and just kind of watching from the sidelines. So we definitely need to chat after about having you guys do some stuff for Nani potentially. But I think the biggest thing that I've seen that maybe could help you guys is just finding more ways to scale with your time, especially because there is only a limited amount of that. Maybe an opportunity is to go into more business photography because weddings you're shooting all day long. But Jaren, you talked about golf, and so maybe you're at one golf shoot and then you reach out to a hat golf company and a club golf, and you can really start to scale that. So that's just one idea, but finding ways to scale your time because you both are so talented that you'll run out of that fast. So.
All right, thanks again to our judges. Thanks for all of your participants. Thanks for being in the class this semester. Be sure to sign up again for next semester and go get some ice cream. Unless you're an entrepreneur who pitched, then get up here on stage.